So if you want to hear me talk about all the great things the story brought to us this week of Obi-Wan Kenobi, then skip to the second section of this review. But if you want to hear me rant about something, then stick around right now, because the stuff I love about the 5th episode of Obi-Wan, I really, really love. The stuff I don't, like, I'm still deciding if it's one of the best or maybe even the worst. I guess that depends which point of view I pick.
From a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
From a certain point of view.
You said your name was Ben.
Well,
hello, fellow Disney Plus watcher. It's nice to talk with you about Disney Plus today. If you love Disney as much as I do and enjoy talking about it, why not click the subscribe button to stay up to date? And please give it a like because it helps the video and the channel. Let's move on. Thank you so much. We're going to get into spoilers. Are you ready? And excuse me again for the rant, but this was the ugliest looking out of any Disney Plus Star Wars episodes to date. And no, I adore Star Wars for the world it is. I salivate every second I'm in the universe. I'm sucked in. I have a blind eye for a lot of things, for a lot of little things or inconsistencies, because I honestly just feel like I'm in that world, and that gives me that kiddie feeling, that gives me that vibe. I always love the lived-in Star Wars world, and I can see a lot of flaws. It's like when you pee in a nice warm bath and it's by accident, you know? At first the pee is just coming up and you think, oh, it's some extra warmth, some extra Star Wars coming in, and you don't even realize it's pee. Well, this week of Obi-Wan Kenobi, made me realize that there's some obvious pee around this show. Okay, I'll stop with the pee analogy. I'm weird. Understand that this is my perspective when I say this episode looks fan-made. The screen is blurry, dark, shaky. I mean, even the ISO or whatever, the exposure settings of the camera are bad, and the scenes are underlit, and we get this grainy footage that I make with my DSLR camera that was made 10 years ago. Seriously, what the hell, crew? I'm really staggered. I said this was going to become a bit of a rant. And for those of you who are wondering, didn't the last episode already look a bit silly? Isn't this expected of the rest of Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yes, that episode 4, didn't look amazing, but I excused it still. It was a fun enough world to spend time in this Inquisitor fortress that looked great. But yes, the action was a bit boring in terms of how it was filmed and how distant it felt, and that snow speeder flying in to shoot at Reva looked like it was from a video game. But that episode is nothing compared to this in terms of how it fails technically, in my opinion. I had almost all the lights out in my room and my curtains closed, and it was still hard to see. The volume technology has never been this obvious. Specifically, the vent Leia crawls in to fix the door is just a blurry piece of CGI. Why? Seriously, why? Why is this part of the game engine technology? Why isn't this an object? Just, I don't know. And what the hell was that shot? What the fuck? This was like a test shot. This was like this. Here, I filmed it. I don't have any actual footage from the episode. Look at this. Oh my god. Look at this. Okay, it's coming. Here it... It's just searching for the right angle. I mean, they're looking for the right shot, and don't tell me this was a test run. Just... I don't know. Yeah, cool reveal for the ones unaware of the Grand Inquisitor's return in Rebels, but man, his makeup has never been this bad. Only thing I could look at was his lipstick. And yeah, what also has me worried a bit, Reva seems to have survived this episode even though Vader stabbed her, and they're teasing Luke now at the very end. What are they gonna do? Have 2 Inquisitors stabbed in one season and then come back to life, and Reva being the end-all hero? I'm really fine with Reva dead in this episode because I feel like she served a great purpose, but this is just a thought. I mean, I don't know, it totally depends on what next week does. So that's it with the negatives. I did like it a lot. I mean, let's talk about the things I love. The Anakin flashbacks that are woven throughout the episode were amazing, not only because of the good banter between Obi-Wan and him and the cool training sequence, no, also because every piece of that flashback was so important to what was happening in the here and now. I have mad respect for the team that despite all the hungry fans, they hold on to the flashbacks until it's relevant to understand what is going on in the present day better. Like, it's not only beautiful character work, but it informs the way Vader fights in this episode and his more tactical stuff. He's more passive. I mean, there's the idea that Anakin learns from Obi-Wan that not all is done when your opponent is disarmed. You still have the Force to guide you, and the need for victory that is blinding Anakin, according to Obi-Wan. That thing that keeps him from becoming a great Jedi, right? Well, Jedi or Sith Lord. Vader's becoming a pretty insane Sith Lord using the lessons Obi-Wan taught him. Makes Obi-Wan's lesson a little painful in hindsight. A weapon is not everything. We see that displayed perfectly in his fight against Reva, where he doesn't use a saber until he can take part of Reva's. Vader disarms her, just like he did with Obi-Wan during training, but now it's different. He made passive use of the Force at first to get Reva worn out, and I love the haunting idea that Vader's sailing on Obi-Wan's training, and with that bringing a part of Anakin to it. It's beautiful. Obi-Wan is still a big part of what made Lord Vader. A great example of another super relevant, awesome flashback. Earlier on in the episode, we find Anakin cornering Obi-Wan and saying, "There's no way out, Master, admit you are beaten." And then right after he says that, boom, cut to Obi-Wan realizing it's over. They have us surrounded. We don't have enough time.
There are too many of them.
Oh my god, that was a terrible... I'm sorry about that. They follow up on the meaning of the flashback in the current day immediately. That's my point. It makes the prequel Anakin scarier, more relevant. It's just amazing. Let's talk about Reva then. The conversation, you know, the negotiation at the gate between her and Obi-Wan felt maybe a tad too sudden, but I do buy Reva now. And the comment about Reva having to hide in a pile of dead bodies, experiencing them going cold, that's horrifying. And some people are saying, well, this is really the Reva show now. And I disagree completely. This is not the Reva show. This episode even makes it less the Reva show, if you want to call it that way, because Reva's now so tied into Vader's rise to power in this manner, it makes her role as Inquisitor a result of Anakin's fall. If you think about it, it makes so much sense that she both wants to get to Obi-Wan and potentially kill him, but even more so Vader, because he killed all her friends and trauma, blah, 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 blah. But Obi-Wan let it happen. He let Vader become Vader. To say, well, you could have stopped him, Obi-Wan, in that moment is a bit too extreme. She refers to the event like the event itself is also Obi-Wan's doing. The guy can't teleport, but her spite against both him and Vader does make total sense to me. This episode delivered it very well. So no, I don't think this is the Reva show. She only compliments Obi-Wan to this point at least. Still hope her role is played this season. It's already done, but I fear we'll see Reva return. I loved when Obi-Wan tried to get to Reva by suggesting them taking Vader together, trying to redeem himself and make up for his mistake of Anakin becoming Vader, and he tries to convince her by saying, "It'll work, he's only fixed on me. He wants to get to me so you can surprise him." Which makes Vader saying that he knew all along about Reva, that she was one of the Padawans after he stabbed her, a little bit better. Although, did he really know?
You have done well.
I mean, really? Did he? Did he really?
Inquisitor.
I don't know why, but I kind of teared up a little bit when the last thing that droid did was protecting Tala in the stormtrooper attack, just bending down, almost hugging her in a way, and then both dying simultaneously. Just some tender done scene. It's tragic, but yeah, real nice scene. Vader was of course epic. It's almost as over the top as some of these video game stuff I've seen. Him stopping an entire ship, letting stuff explode, or force push an army of people. It's extreme, but I'll forgive it. I got a kick out of it anyway. So, Obi-Wan informing the rescue mission by recounting that Vader doesn't have patience for a siege. This whole story of the episode really built up to the ultimate rematch. The duel between Vader and Reva was meaningful, loved Tala's sacrifice, so many great moments, and then so many frustrations with the cheap look, the obvious video game wall screens, the shaky, muddy, dark shots that are pulling this episode down really much. Story-wise, best story so far in Obi-Wan. I really think that. Episode-wise, worst viewing experience with the most little of frustrations added up to a muddy-looking episode. Few questions and fears going into the finale, but nothing major about that. Let's see how next week goes. Pump up the budget, please, for that one, please. Now it's up to you. What did you think about this episode? Let me know in the comments below and add D+ on the top of your comment if you want me to give my thoughts on your thoughts in the coming Sunday video. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in my thoughts on previous episodes of Obi-Wan, you'll find it right here or in the description. Did you like this video? Then there's the simple way to show support. Thank you so much. My second episode of Ms. Marvel review is also up today, so if you want to watch that, you know where to find it. And for now, have a wonderful day and see ya.